What's up, guys? What's up, guys? We're close enough, right? That's close enough to straight. Yeah, I think we'll be fine. Gotta get my water first. Gotta have that. Recycle your plastics if you haven't already. Alright. Podcast. $49. Coming up on number 50. Next go around. Alright. I'm coming at you a little later than I was gonna. I was gonna try to be closer to the 5 o'clock hour than I ended up being, but yeah, what are you gonna do? All right. Now we're going to go hot on the audio. Ladies and gentle ducks. Check two, hey, check two, check. Check two, hey, check. You should be fine. Check two, hey, hey, check two, hey, check two, hey, check. Okay. All right, going hot on audio. Howdy. Howdy. Boy Howdy. You remember that band, Boy Howdy? They had a song called She'd Give Anything and Everything to Fall in Love. Jeffrey Steele, I believe, was lead singer of that band. But that's beside the point. How are you? Are you doing good? Good. I already asked you that, Cheese. Answer it again. Jimmy says there's people actually answering me at home. Is he lying? Are you really answering me at home? Let me know. All right. So I haven't done this in a while, but I have a few gigs this week. Tonight at the Garden City Pier, I will be playing with the American Sound from 8:30 to 11:30. The American Sound is the electric band, Cornbread obviously being the acoustic project or the acoustic band. The electric project has my brother Chip Harrelson and my brother Daryl High. Brother Daryl High can't make it tonight, so we got Bradley Suggs of the Beat Holes, ladies and gentlemen. I got a beat hole on the stage with me tonight at the pier. That's gonna be pretty cool. So now I'm one Garrett away from playing with all of the beat holes. So this is a call to arms, Garrett. We got to do a gig, man. Anywho, got that tonight, 8:30 to 11:30 at Garden City Pier. I should have this released in time for you to potentially know about it if you're interested in that. Anywho, tomorrow night got a duo at Oceanfront Bar and Grill from 8-ish to 11-ish. Smitty may or may not be able to do it. It may be a solo. But I've also got a solo there at Oceanfront Bar and Grill next to the Bowery in Myrtle Beach on Wednesday from 1 to 4. So I'll be there 8 to 11 something tonight, and or 8 something to 11 something tonight, and then again Wednesday from 1 to 4. Or not tonight, tomorrow night. I said that wrong. So Sunday, Pier, Monday, Oceanfront Bar and Grill, Wednesday, Oceanfront Bar and Grill. Then Friday and Saturday, we've got Apple Annie's on Friday in Florence from 10 to 2 with Cornbread. And then the next night, we've got Montreux in Somerville from 10 to 1:30. So getting out of town this weekend for a little bit, but close enough to be able to be home every night. So I love that. Now, today is Sunday, and it is a very special Sunday for many reasons. But for one, being a deadhead, I'm a huge deadhead, and it's Jerry Fest today. Now, I have never been to a single Jerry Fest because it always falls in the middle of the summer when I'm burnt out on public and being in public. And I know that it's a really cool thing, and I love literally everybody who goes to this is a great friend of mine, and I love all these people. But the only bummer is that it's always it's always on a Sunday, and it always either falls on a day off or falls on a day off that I need to keep off because I'm just literally burnt out on my music, or it falls on a day when I have a gig later that night and I just need to save my energy of being in public. So both of those are the case today. Like, I'm burnt out in the middle of the summer and I have a gig tonight. So only reason I'm not going to that, but I love the Dead, and I don't know, everybody who sees me, they're like, man, well, obviously you don't love the Dead if you don't go to Jerry Fest. But I'm not your traditional person, so hey, there's that. But anywho, I'm very weird about that though. Like when I'm and I don't want to be in public for longer than a few minutes. And I know that's a weird quirk that I have, and I'm working through that on my own. But we'll get there. Maybe one day I'll be able to leave my house and not be burning up to get back home after a certain amount of time. Speaking of which, that was the case last night. So this talk, I named this one the "There Is Hope Yet" talk because, well, I'll get to it. So last night was one of the first times in a long time that I was at a gig and I wasn't burning up to get back home. I wasn't keeping my eye on the clock to be able to see when I could leave. And usually all of you guys know that I play my gig straight through and don't take a break because everybody else takes breaks. And honestly, that's just, I don't know. I lose momentum when I take a break. That's just not my thing. So I'd rather take my break at the end, and a lot of bar owners and bartenders appreciate that because it keeps the people around for X amount of time. And then whenever they go to, and whenever I get towards the end, everybody's just, they've gotten their fill of music and they're ready to go home anyway. And if somebody asks for another one after that, then we'll obviously have to do it because we're still technically on our time slot, and we don't mind doing that. But the bartenders and the bar owners are pretty good. They make more money in that chunk of time. If the band leaves the stage, a lot of people will pay their tab and go, and that's good for restaurants. If it's like a sit down restaurant that needs the turntables, I understand that 100%. But if it's a bar that makes money on having people hang around and continuing to drink, then I want to create that situation for them. So, anywho, last night was no different. I played straight through. I didn't take a break, and it was at a gig called Strong Waters Craft Bar. Is that right? Something like that. Strong Waters Craft Bar, where they make like fancy drinks and whatnot. But it's a swanky spot, and it's in Myrtle Beach on 21st Avenue at the Breakers. And it's a really cool spot. I really dig doing that gig because I can get away with doing usually what I want to do there because the crowd is generally, and not anything against the gig or venue at all. It's just the crowd isn't very responsive there, and I'm usually playing to maybe one person who's actually digging it, and I can like feed off of that person. But last night I walk in and like it was busier than I'd ever seen this place. And I was excited about that because more people, there's more chance that somebody will dig what I got going on. So that being said, I did the the first song I did an Iron and Wine song, and after that I think I did uh, some cool song. I don't know what it was. It was, I think I was trying to feel out the crowd, but it was I can't remember. Either way, it was definitely an obscure tune. Like I like to do obscure songs, and so started off with an Iron and Wine song. Then I did some obscure tune, and my friend Julie showed up right after the second song, and she was sitting in the corner, and there was this family with a young girl. She was probably about 5 or 6, maybe. Was in a different room, and I saw the young girl walk up. Obviously, me and Julie were talking when she walked in, so it was obvious we knew each other. The girl walked up to Julie and asked Julie a question, and Julie yelled at me, not yelled at me, but Julie said she wants to hear Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen, and this is like my third song of the gig, basically. So this is generally Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen is a fantastic song. I rarely do it. And when I do it, it's usually the last song because there's really not a whole lot that you can do to follow that song up. Or so I thought. And I said, you know what? I usually do that song at the end. That's usually my closer, but I'll do that now because I can't deny it. I can't. First off, I can't deny a child who wants to hear Leonard Cohen in a world full of other things that a child could have heard on the radio and wanted to hear. She asked for Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah, so I'm gonna do it. So anyway, I do that song, and she filmed me playing it, and the it was like awesome. I mean, she filmed me playing that song, and after the gig, her parents told me that that was her favorite song, and she'll remember that moment for the rest of her life, and that made me really stoked because I've talked a lot about being very disappointed in the future generations, uh, but I saw hope last night. Like this child, like I said, videoed the song and continued to request songs all night. So I knew what I had to do. After she had been requesting songs, like I just saw that she was very into the live music thing. It was fun for her to come up and ask for a song. Her parents were sending her up to ask for another couple songs, and I love it when that happens because anytime you can get a child interested in actual music, that eliminates another square. And I'm sorry, we got enough squares. But anyway, there was a lot of people in this room, and a lot of them have had kids, and a lot of the kids were just dancing around, and it was fun to watch the kids have a good time. So I knew what I had to do, and I played Frozen. So I did the Do You Want to Build a Snowman? And surely nobody in that room had ever heard or seen anybody who looks like me do something like that. And the parents were singing this song more than the kids were, which was hilarious to me. And it usually is the case. But did that song and everybody went nuts. And that was like a rock star situation where we did the same thing the other night at where were we? Nacho Hippo. One of the managers had his daughter, and the same situation. There was a bunch. Adam's kids were there, and there was a lot of other kids there, and they were all dancing around right in front of us. And surely we were like, okay, we know what we have to do. We have to do Frozen. So I was like, yeah, I don't mind doing that. That'll be something like, and I said last night that's like the common denominator. That bridges the gap between us. like between me and these kids who are probably going to remember this night for the rest of their lives in some fashion. But the fact that I tied in something that is relative to them, like the Frozen song, it just, I think, embeds that deeper in their memory, and that's what we're going for. Because I was, I'm gonna say this again probably 3 or 4 times throughout this talk, but I'm so stoked to see kids dancing around the room and listening to music and having fun and playing with each other and not fucking with a screen or a phone or just glued to a screen. That's just, I don't necessarily agree with that. Like, and I don't have kids, so I can't. I don't know what that's like, but I don't know. I had a vision of hope in seeing these kids not holding a phone to their face, and they were actually having a good time doing what kids used to do. So that being said, I played the Frozen song. Everybody went nuts, and the parents of the girl who requested Hallelujah came up to me, and they were Canadian. They were awesome. I thanked them for Norm Macdonald, and I don't know if that was odd or not, but actually they friended me on Facebook and we messaged back and forth. And the dad requested some Avett Brothers, so and he a lot of other awesome stuff, and I was very stoked to be able to do the kind of stuff that I like to do, which I never get to do, and you guys have heard me say that multiple times. But another couple who came in asked for a couple of modern songs. I can't remember what it was. I think it was Nathaniel Ratliff and the Night Sweats, or Ratliff, whatever it is. That guy. They asked for that, and I was like, I haven't really listened to the radio a lot since around the early 2000s emo era. And they lit up. They were like, holy shit, play that. Play all of that you want. And I was like, all right, we can do a little throwback, some emo music. Why not? So I think I did Taking Back Sunday song, and then I did a Brand New song, and maybe definitely a My Chemical Romance song. Yeah, I think I did Take Back Sunday, Brand New, My Chemical Romance. May have done a Dashboard. I can't remember. But either way, I was doing the kind of, like, that's the kind of stuff that I listen to. As a matter of fact, on this channel, if you are into any kind of emo or early 2000s emo, I don't know if it's public. I think it's public. I made a playlist on this YouTube channel, on my YouTube channel, that is full of early 2000s emo stuff. And not necessarily just emo, but there's some acoustic things in there too. And it's just basically like a 100% nostalgia playlist. If you want to go back to the early 2000s for a little bit, listen to that playlist. It's literally a mixtape that I made via YouTube. I made you guys a mixtape. Isn't that sweet? Anywho, another guy who was there asked for Manchester Orchestra. Now, like I said, I hadn't listened to the radio a lot in the last 15 years. The only thing I've listened to are bands or songs that people have told me to listen to. Now, I had heard of Manchester Orchestra because they were out of Atlanta, and I remember a buddy of mine who worked, Michael Coleus, who worked at Aroma Underground in Florence, knew the guys from Manchester Orchestra because he was from Atlanta. And he told me about this band like years before anybody else would ever hear about them. And after that request, I realized, okay, so I can get away with doing like pretty much anything now. Like, I can play whatever kind of music I want to do. And after that is being that I did all of these emo songs and these Manchester songs and this screamo kind of stuff, and Like I did, and I didn't do like the like brand new. I didn't do the acoustic song. I did the quiet things that no one ever knows. I pretty sure I did Helena by My Chemical Romance and Cute Without the E from Taking Back Sunday. So I mean, it was like, and I didn't do the acoustic version of Cute Without the E either. I did the full on version, obviously with an acoustic, but I did the actual studio, the original version. So, and I got applause for all of these songs from people who did not request this music. So they were totally fine with listening to early 2000s emo. And that made me just, I was beside myself. Natalie Carner, who all of the musicians in the area know as she and Richie and Scott Bird handle our schedule and our calendars. They're our agents basically. And Natalie stopped by, and her fella, who was from Liverpool, by the way. I played some Beatles for Robert, I think his name is, from Liverpool. And she asked for some Band of Horses. So I was like, shit, this is just my kind of gig. This is my kind of night, man. Mind you, I still haven't looked at the clock yet. I don't know what kind of time has passed, but I get to do all of these things that I actually listen to in my own time. I do a few Band of Horses songs, and then I do an Avett Brothers song. And after I did the Avett Brothers song, that was when the dad of the other girl, who requested Hallelujah, he came up and tipped and said, "Man, I was just about to request Avett Brothers. It's so awesome that you just did that." And I was like, "Sweet." So I mean, and that was the Avett Brothers song was like one of maybe 4 or 5 songs that I chose myself throughout that night. Like everything else was a request. And then after Natalie asked for Band of Horses, and then I play Blackbird for Robert from Liverpool, a guy at a table comes up, drops dollars in the old Frankie, and says, "Do you know any Jason Isbell?" Ah, I feel you in this house, Lord. I was just so excited that everything that it's like I could not have chosen a better crowd of people myself to play music to. They literally wanted to hear everything that I wanted to play. And it's not like when you do the thing that we got this spiel that we go through, like anything you want to hear, feel free to holler it out. There's a 30% chance we'll know it, or 10 or 20, depending on whether it's duo or solo. And people will usually say, "Oh, play what you want to hear." And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't think you want to hear what I want." But what's crazy is I guess maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Maybe people do want to hear what I want to play, and people do want to hear the kind of things that we do, and not just uh, Tennessee whiskey over and over, or whatever it may be. So I don't know. Maybe last night was a telling situation, but then again, I do feel like I got really really lucky with the crowd, because I've tried to do things like that before and tried to just do a gig where I play all of what I want to play, and I'll lose the crowd completely when they hear something that they've never heard before. If it's like out of the ordinary that your average acoustic musician at the beach wouldn't play. If it's not Buffett or Skinnerd or Jack Johnson or Sublime or Bob Marley or Tom Petty or whatever have you, any of those, outside of any of those things. And you know what? I didn't play a single popular song last night. And by popular song, I mean like popular in the realm of musicians. The only popular song that I did was honestly a request. Somebody requested Johnny Cash, and I did Ring of Fire. But they requested Stones. I gave them Dead Flowers, and they were happy with that. The guy requested Avett Brothers. I said, "How far back does your Avett Brothers listenership go?" And he's like, "Since the beginning." So I played Sorry Man, and nobody does Sorry Man. And I played literally just a bunch of shit that nobody does. And I don't think I did a single country song. I know for a fact that I didn't do. I don't think I did a Tom Petty song. I didn't do a Grateful Dead. I usually do a Dead tune. I didn't do one of those. Like I didn't do any of the normal shit that I do. I completely stepped out of my box that I usually play, even with American Sound. Like I didn't do a single song that I normally do with the other projects, and that is just it was a breath of fresh air. It was a sip of water out of a container that doesn't have to be created every other second, for us to recycle. Reduce your use, people. Stop buying plastic bottles. Get you one of these things from Walmart for $20, and the tap water ain't bad here in Murrells Inlet. I'm not sure how it is where you are, but the tap water ain't bad. Stop using them plastics and recycle them if you do use them. Did I make up just then for all the times that I haven't said it in the last couple episodes? I hope so. So after the guy requests Jason Isbell, and I ask him to pick an album, and he was like, "Really?" I was like, "Yeah, man, just choose an album. Which album do you want? What do you want?" And he said something more than free, and I was like, "Do you want that one?" And he was like, "How about a little Speed Trap Town?" So I did Speed Trap Town, and I screwed up some of the words to it. And I give a disclaimer. I was like, you know what? I don't think I might not know all of the words to this. Oh my God. I did the Proclaimers. I did 500 Miles, and I don't know the words of that song. I made most of them up. But people don't care because 90% of the people who were in the crowd don't know the words. And the other people who do know the words are usually impressed that you fake it. And so that's usually a win-win. But yeah, I had a disclaimer. I was like, most of these songs are co-written by me because I'm making up a lot of these words. I'll do something that uh, sounds close or rhymes or whatever. It's basically like non-rap freestyling, if you will. But most of the songs that we do are pretty much the same thing. Like, yeah, I try not to. I feel like if I get the story right, the song, the lyrics will just show up as time goes. So anyway, I I did the Jason Isbell song, and I made up a few of the words to it, and I don't think anybody cared. So for the rest of the night, I don't know if anybody else requested anything, but I just took all of the bands. Like I saw the people who were still there, and I knew what each person requested, and I just chose songs by those artists that those people had already requested. So basically, I just interchanged outside of the little emo portion of it that I did with the Take It Back Sunday and stuff. I just alternated between Band of Horses and Jason Isbell and the Avett Brothers, and I did some Fleet Foxes and some My Morning Jacket. Dude asked for some Jim James. I did Golden and Touch Me, and I think, or Touch Me, I'm Going to Scream, or whatever it's called, part two. I don't know, it was cool, and I know I'm just rambling, telling you guys about all the songs that I played in this gig, and I hope that that's not boring, but I had a really good time getting to play the shit that I don't normally do. So it's just sort of like a ask and ye shall receive sort of thing. Like I put out into the universe that I was sick of doing all the normal shit that we have been doing and over the last couple of months and or years, honestly. And I'm like, we're doing the same songs over and over. I'm just getting fed up. I'm getting bored, and me bored is not a good thing. Like me bored loses interest, and that's not a good thing for the band. It's not a good thing for any band that I'm in. If I lose interest in what I'm doing, I can't turn that. I can't, change that. I can't flip that switch back the other way once it's flipped. I don't know why I'm like that, but I am. And I know that I am, so I'm trying to make sure that folks understand that I'm not trying to, I don't know, I'm just not trying to change that or anything, but maybe I am. Maybe I am. I always try to keep or say I want to keep my personality sound and the way that it is because I'm fine with who I am. But I guess have been making little changes here lately. We're not here to talk about the changes we made lately, but you know what? Maybe we are for a second. Y'all, I have lost the weight in the amount of, I will be fully candid with you guys, or candid, is that the word? I'm going to be truthful with you. The largest point that I got up to weight wise in the last, and I realized it over the last couple of months, was 343 pounds. It's no secret. You guys have seen me on the YouTube thing. I'm a big dude. So 343 pounds was where I weighed in at the highest of, like, the biggest I've been. Today, I weighed right before I got in the shower. I was 317 pounds. So we are down that many. What's that? 26. So yeah, I'm down that much pounds, and I'm not done by any means. We're going to keep going. And I'm very stoked about that. But we're not here to talk about that. I just had to say that since it popped into my head. Last night, I told the people that I didn't want to look at the clock because I think clocks are dumb. I don't like time. I don't like that. I don't like the normal laws of time, and I just don't like time. I don't like that. I don't like the thought of it. I mean, it's cool when you have to meet up or whatever, but I just don't like clocks. So I didn't look at my clock, and I said that throughout the gig. So around the end of the gig, Julie asked me if I wanted to know what time it was. And I said, sure. And it was 10 minutes after 10. My gig was from 7 to 10. I started a little bit before 7, like a couple minutes before 7. And I played straight through till after 10. Usually if I don't take a break, I'll stop a couple minutes early. But I played all the way through till after 10 o'clock. And I did one more after I realized that it was after my time. And I said, all right, well, you guys have been awesome. This is hands down, I think, one of my favorite gigs of all time. And maybe my favorite gig of all time. It could have been my favorite gig of all time that I played last night. It very well could have been. And so I said, my Canadian friends out there, hopefully will be new listeners. I'm going to send this episode to them because I told this story. But my Canadian friends asked for some Nirvana Unplugged. So I did all apologies. I'm pretty sure they may have wanted to hear Where Did You Sleep Last Night, but not to be selfish, but I do have a lot of gigs to do coming up in the weeks coming. So I wanted to save my pipes as best that I can. So I did all apologies and closed it out. They were very happy with it. Had a really good conversation with them afterwards. I don't know. Went over that gig later on with Julie, talking about how awesome it was, and she was telling me about how the little girl was just so blown away by the whole experience of the situation, and